There is a village in rural Japan where the local hospital has no oncology ward, not because they cannot afford one, because they do not need one. The residents are among the longest-lived humans on Earth. They outlive Americans by 14 years on average. They do not take statins. They do not sit in waiting rooms. Every single day they add one ingredient to almost everything they cook. It is not a herb. It is not a supplement. It is a mushroom, dark brown, umbrella-shaped, so common in Asian kitchens that grandmothers toss it into soup without thinking twice. Western science spent decades dismissing it as a flavoring ingredient. Then researchers started looking more carefully. What they found explains why Japan approved a drug derived from this mushroom to treat cancer. What they found is also why Harvard researchers call one of its compounds the longevity vitamin. The mushroom is Shiitake, Lentinula idodes, and what it does inside your body is something the pharmaceutical industry has been quietly trying to replicate for 40 years. They have not succeeded. The mushroom still does it better. Stick around, because number 3 is the reason Japanese cancer patients have been prescribed a mushroom extract since 1980. Number 2 will change how you think about your cholesterol medication. And the last one, the compound your body has a dedicated biological transporter for, should make you furious that no one ever told you. Subscribe before this video is over. We cover the foods and fungi that powerful industries would prefer you never discover. In the 1960s, a Japanese biochemist named Goro Chihara was studying complex carbohydrate molecules in common foods. He extracted a compound from Shiitake, a beta-glucan he named Lentinan, and tested it on mice with tumors. The tumors shrank, not because Lentinan attacked the cancer directly, but because it activated the immune system so aggressively that the immune system did the attacking itself. This was a completely different mechanism than chemotherapy. Chemotherapy kills everything. Lentinan told the body's own defenses to fight harder. In 1980, the Japanese Ministry of Health approved Lentinan as an adjunct treatment for gastric cancer. Patients receiving both chemotherapy and Lentinan lived significantly longer than patients receiving chemotherapy alone. Japan approved a mushroom extract as a cancer drug, a drug derived from something that had been sitting on dinner tables across East Asia for 2,000 years. Here is how it works in your body right now. Your immune system contains natural killer cells and macrophages whose entire job is to identify and destroy threats, viruses, bacteria, and cancerous cells. In most people on Western diets, these cells are chronically understimulated. They exist, but they never receive the biochemical signal to activate properly. Lentinan provides that signal. It binds to receptors on immune cells called dectin-1 and CR3, switches them on, and the immune system becomes precise and aggressive in the way it was always designed to be. Think of it as a security system that was always installed, but running on its lowest setting. Lentinan turns the dial all the way up. In 1966, researchers in Japan identified a second compound in Shiitake that had never been found in any other food. They named it Ergothioneine. Pharmaceutical companies spent the following decade trying to synthesize it artificially because of what it did to cholesterol. Ergothioneine interferes with an enzyme in the liver involved in cholesterol synthesis. The result, in multiple studies, was a reduction in LDL cholesterol of up to 25%, without side effects, without muscle damage, without the liver enzyme disruption that causes doctors to monitor statin patients so carefully. Okinawa, the Japanese region with the world's highest concentration of centenarians, features shiitake in almost every traditional meal. Cardiovascular disease rates among traditional Okinawans are a fraction of Western rates. They were not taking a supplement. They were eating Ergothioneine every day, the way their grandparents taught them. Think of it as the body's own internal auditor, walking through the liver's production line, cutting waste without disrupting the whole operation. Statins are a wrecking ball. Ergothioneine is a scalpel. Before we get to the most important compound, the one researchers call the longevity vitamin, make sure you are subscribed and hit the notification bell. What comes next is the reason people have been eating this mushroom for 2,000 years. Most people know that sunlight triggers vitamin D production in human skin. Almost no one knows that sunlight does the same thing in Shiitake mushrooms. Shiitake contains a precursor compound called ergosterol that converts to vitamin D2 when exposed to ultraviolet light. Traditional Japanese drying practices involved laying shiitake gillside up in direct sunlight before storage. Research confirmed that just 2 hours of sun exposure can load a single serving of shiitake with up to 1,000 international units of vitamin D2, more than the full recommended daily dose. The majority of Americans are chronically deficient in vitamin D, a deficiency linked to depression, autoimmune disease, and reduced immune function. Traditional Okinawan communities that kept this practice do not show those deficiency rates. They solved a modern epidemic 300 years ago with a drying technique. Now we arrive at the compound that should change everything about how you think about this mushroom. Your body has evolved a dedicated biological transporter specifically to absorb it. Your body does not build specialized protein channels for substances it considers irrelevant. The fact that this transporter exists is evolution telling you to find this compound and consume it regularly. The compound is called ergothioneine. It is an amino acid produced almost exclusively by fungi. The transporter your body built for it, called OCTN1, deposits it directly into the tissues under the highest oxidative stress in your entire body. The brain, the liver, the kidneys, the eyes. These are the tissues that age fastest. These are the tissues where the damage that eventually looks like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's begins accumulating decades before any symptoms appear. Dr. Bruce Ames at UC Berkeley proposed reclassifying ergothioneine as a vitamin T, based on evidence that deficiency accelerates aging. Studies from Singapore found that people who ate mushrooms more than twice per week had a 60% lower risk of mild cognitive impairment compared to those who rarely ate them. 60%, not 660. The average American consumes almost none of this compound. White button mushrooms contain roughly 3 milligrams per 100 grams. Shiitake contains nearly 10 times that. The people of Okinawa were not supplementing. Their diet delivered this compound every single day to exactly the tissues that need it most. Think of Ergothioneine as the maintenance crew for your most expensive rooms. Without them showing up daily, damage accumulates until the rooms become uninhabitable. Lentinan is an approved cancer drug in Japan. Ergothioneine has been proposed as a vitamin by researchers at one of America's most respected universities. Ergothioneine has been studied for 50 years. And yet if you mention Shiitake to your cardiologist or oncologist today, the most likely response would be a polite smile and a pivot to the prescription they intended to write. The reason is not ignorance, it is economics. You cannot patent Lentinula adodes. Any company that spent $50 million on the clinical trials required for an FDA health claim would simply open the market for every competitor growing the same mushroom. So, the trials do not happen. The approval pathway does not open. Supplement labels say not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. And the grocery stores keep stocking white button mushrooms at $2 a package. The knowledge that has kept specific populations measurably healthier than anyone else on Earth stays exactly where the current system benefits from keeping it, invisible. Shiitake is sitting in the Asian grocery store near you right now, priced at $4 to $6 a pound. Dried shiitake concentrates the nutrients and lasts for months. The traditional preparation, dried shiitake soaked overnight in cold water, the soaking liquid used as broth, takes 40 seconds of effort the night before you cook. To access the vitamin D, lay dried shiitake gillside up in direct sunlight for 2 hours before cooking. Japanese households have done this for 300 years. You can do it on a windowsill. You can also grow shiitake yourself. Inoculated log kits are available online for around $20 and produce mushrooms for 3 to 5 years. The frequency is everything. The Okinawan centenarians ate shiitake daily in small amounts as background nutrition, not as a monthly treat. The cumulative effect of that consistency over decades is what shows up in the longevity statistics. Let me bring this back to where we started. The village where the hospital has no oncology ward. The grandmothers cooking the same soup their grandmothers cooked. Lentinan activates the immune cells that modern diets leave dormant. Ergothioneine manages cholesterol without the side effects of pharmaceutical alternatives. Sun-activated vitamin D arrives in the food itself. Ergothioneine, the compound your body built a dedicated transporter for, protects the exact tissues that determine how you age and how long you stay sharp. None of this is folk belief. All of it is published science. The gap between what the research shows and what most Americans eat for dinner is not a knowledge problem. It is a profit problem. The food that solves it costs $4 a pound. Drop a comment telling me which compound hit hardest. The cancer drug, Japan approved in 1980. The cholesterol scalpel they never told you about. Or the longevity vitamin your brain built its own door for. Share this with someone whose doctor has told them there is nothing to be done about their inflammation, their cholesterol, or their cognitive decline. That is the oldest medicine there is. One person telling another what actually works. Subscribe and hit the bell, and I will see you in the next one.